City Current. Produced by Dakota Media Access. In-depth discussion with Bismarck and Mandan city officials. Watch on Government Access Channel 602 HD or tune in to Radio Access 102.5 FM. Always local, always current.
Coming up on this Mandan edition of City Current, we'll tell you when to look forward to the grand lighting and Santa's arrival. Tell you about a new feature this Christmas season, the military tribute tree, and back with another update on Memorial Highway. Thanks for joining us. I am Tom Gerhardt, Executive Director at Dakota Media Access, joined as always by Jim Neubauer, City Administrator in Mandan. Good to see you, Jim.
Good morning, Tom, and thank you very much.
It's, it seems like we were just talking about the 4th of July a couple weeks ago, and now we're talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Time flies very fast, and we're looking forward to the upcoming holiday season. So I think we talked a little bit about last time. If you see some public works trucks out there with the snowplows on front, we're doing little practice runs and some new operators, and thankfully we have not had to utilize the full force so far this year, and we'll take that as long as we can get it.
Well, we're noticing a lot of other things in Mandan nowadays, but going to the City Commission meeting last night, let's start with some beautification program winners before we get to all the good Christmas holiday season stuff. And you had a couple of folks, one business, one home, that were recognized.
Yeah, we tasked the beautification committee members to come up with, I think we split up into teams of 3 or 4 and said, go out and find us some homes and some businesses that you are have taken great pride in what they do. And so they did that. Beautification committee is making recommendations on awards. And last night for the residential, we have a property at 210 3rd Avenue Northwest, downtown Mandan, that nominated by one of our committee members, Ruth McDonald. And to read what she said is that the overall appeal of this property has always stood out to me, and I feel like their subtle 4th of July decor pairs nicely with their manicured lawn. So I think Kathy and Laura Ballet last night are doing a great job taking care of that property. Even the previous owners did a good job of decorating, and the house, I believe, was built in 1916. So just a great piece of downtown architecture, and always fun because they do, a phenomenal job of decorating.
That lawn looks fabulous, too. It almost looks like our flag on a breezy day with the way the stripes are mowing in there. So fantastic job there. And then the local business was Buck and Bean. Buck and Bean,
and again, this was nominated by Michaela Ranasat. She is, again, one of our Community Beautification Committee members, and Chelsea and Toby Severson are the owners of the Buck and Bean. And so the comments that Michaela wrote were, since Buck and Bean was built, I've always been impressed at the fresh, appealing aesthetic that it brings to Mandan, and from the building itself to the patio to the fresh summer landscaping that they do, and do a great job of keeping their business looking sharp. So again, congratulations to them. It's always fun to present these awards because it's like you're recognizing folks that are kind of going above and beyond, and they're very proud owners of the property. They take great care of them. And again, thank you to our community beautification members for there's a number of nominations, and that I think Commissioner Schoberg mentioned last night. This is not just a one-year thing. If you are out in the holiday season and you're finding businesses or homes that do a great job of decorating, please, there's a nomination form on our website. You can find it, fill it out, turn it in, and it comes into our beautification committee, and they will review it, and we'll go from there. But again, encouragement goes out to all those folks that are doing that. In fact, we've got a couple of contests coming up for the best snow removal job done by downtowners in their sidewalks and things like that. And it's a good thing too. That's the Golden Shovel Award, and we've got another one for best decorating. And normally we'll put those out for votes, and you get a golden shovel. Of course, it was highly valuable today with the price of gold price. That spray paint on the black shovel is holding in there, and we've got the beautiful leg lamp for the beautification award on those too. So
nothing says holidays, Christmas like the leg lamp.
That is right.
Well, congrats to both of them. Those green lawns those photos could have been taken a couple of weeks ago, the way this fall's been going.
Absolutely.
Also, I think just talk about Memorial Highway. Construction will wrap up here, it sounds like, next week. Where are we at? It looks like a lot more pavement's down.
A lot more concrete has gone down in the last few weeks. They will start, there has to be you have to call it an end at some point in time at this time of the year. And where contractors in North Dakota Department of Transportation, city folk are all working on getting this project to a place where winter transfer of driving on the north lanes to the south lanes, and then entrances will be constructed going from the south lanes into those businesses on the north side. We continue to encourage folks to, Memorial Highway is still open.
Right.
Please patronize those businesses and do everything that you can to help them out. The Yifty gift card program is still available through the Mandan Progress Organization. And as far as winter goes in, traffic will be moved to the south side driving lanes
Got a couple
shortly.
of photos we can show here that's
intersections
from the
at,
north looking south or southwest.
intersections
roughly.
at 40th, which runs by Kiss Livestock and Lonesome Dove in that area, and then also on 32nd. That intersection should be opening up very soon, or it is open already. So again, transitioning from south, from the north side driving to the south side, and then they will work as long as they can on the north side on the underground utilities in preparation of, I'm pretty sure that paving isn't going to happen until next spring based on, again, overnight temperatures and things like that, but we will continue to work as long as possible throughout the winter.
Tell us about the snow removal plan. We heard last night the DOT will be coming in and clearing the snow.
Yep, again, this is a DOT highway, North Dakota Department of Transportation, and generally they have been the ones who've been moving snow, street sweeping, and patching and all that good things after, and up till this point in time. When the project is completed fully, they will turn those activities over to our city staff. During this transition period between now and the spring, there will be driveways constructed from the south side into the north side. It will be hard surfaced, and DOT then will be cleaning those entrances so that, again, people can continue to shop, and it's not putting an extra burden on those businesses on the north side that need to then move another 25 or 30 feet of snow in the wintertime. Department of Transportation will be doing that.
And it sounded like next week, maybe right before Thanksgiving, is kind of the last day for major work.
Correct. I think November 23rd was the so-called completion date, and like I said, they'll be transitioning things prior to then. But again, our message is please continue to patronize those businesses. They're still open. They need your help, and do everything we can. But again, traveling public has been really good. From the summer's activity, we always joke about the wavy bacon, the roller coaster ride on there now. That is absolutely not the final product. And while some people really like it, it is, not the best driving service for the winter time.
Leave that to Raging Rivers or something,
yep,
right?
Absolutely. And again, please, even during the construction phase, slow down, 25 speed limit. The concrete barriers and all those things will be coming off, and getting ready for real winter.
Wanted to bring up one other project. That's the Collins Avenue Reservoir, because people are going to be noticing some demolition ultimately this winter, but I also want to provide an update on where things are at there. Yeah,
right now they're doing testing. So they built the reservoir. There'll be water testing, make sure nothing's leaking and all that good stuff. And when they finish those tests, they will transition towards the end of November to utilizing that reservoir in full capacity. During the time that we transition over, you will see demolition on the old reservoir occur this winter. And so their activity will not stop. And then a lot of people have expressed concern over the intersection and the sightline distance on the...
And that's what we're seeing there.
Yep, on the southeast corner of that intersection of Division and Collins. That retaining wall will be pulled back. And so that making those sightlines a lot cleaner and a lot safer for the traveling public. So that activity will happen next spring. And along with some other construction projects we have going on in the Monty Drive area and other areas where there's some final cleanup work, landscaping and putting people's yards back and things like that, a lot of that is moving now, transitioning into the spring projects, and they're all on the list, and that will be taken care of in the spring.
Like you said, at some point we got to call it quits.
At some
for
point,
the year, right?
yep, you got to call her. It's a day, and at this time of year, a lot of those projects are okay. We just need to wait until spring when we can move in and finish those.
Well, let's talk about all the holiday activity that's
Yes.
kicking off right after Thanksgiving, and a couple of new things we learned about last night that be able to check out in Mandan, and one that really caught my attention was the military tribute tree.
Right. Two new displays in the park. The military tribute tree, I believe, is just in the Heritage Park area, if you know where the water fountain or the fountain is, and to the east of the Mandan Depot. That is a pretty impressive military tree, and they've been testing the lights and everything else, so
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see it a couple times when it's been lit up, and I'm going, they leave that thing lit up all the time. But that is very impressive. There's also a new tractor. I think Farmers Union Insurance has put in a new a tractor in the park, and that is over near the library, the Morton Mandan Public Library. And so again, they're always trying to freshen things up, and new photo ops and
Yep.
new selfie spots and grand opening of the park. Grand lighting, I guess we're calling it.
Yeah,
Would be
let's let people know.
will be on Friday after Thanksgiving. I think it's
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
So last year it was a little chilly down there, but there's a lot of hot chocolate flowing and everything else. So again, our message is fire pits roaring,
Yeah.
and please come down and enjoy. We'll have part of Main Street will be blocked off for people to come in and transverse freely. We ask that come down early, maybe have a pizza, maybe have a cocktail, or at the shop in downtown Mandan prior to the opening. And also, you can come back once or twice or three times when the lights are on. And again, we encourage that. We do things to the Mandan Progress organization to bring people downtown, and then partake and patronize some of the businesses down there too.
And I think I heard Matt Shanador say at the meeting over 3,000 people last year, and I was reminded it was cold last year, and it could be again this year, but again, you got that hot chocolate, you got
Right.
the fire pits.
And again, huge shout out to all the sponsors and all the people, that volunteers that were out there decorating the last few weeks and putting the displays up. Big shout out and thank you to all those folks. Mandan Progress organization doesn't function without its volunteer base, and it's incredible. And the people and the businesses that sponsor things do an absolutely wonderful job. And like I said, you can stop down and visit more than once during the holiday season. And like I said, find some new selfie spots, take your pictures, take them with family, and just enjoy the atmosphere.
So along with that grand lighting is Santa's arrival.
Yes.
And just wanted to tie that into another new event, which will take place on Saturday the 29th, and that's Mingle with the Kringles.
Mingle with the Kringles in the Morton Mandan Public Library, and I think you know the dates and times of that.
10 to 4.
10 to 4.
Yeah, 10 to 4.
So again, Mingle with the Kringles. Kudos to whoever came up with that. Very creative, and much more creative than I am, but that should be a really fun event in the Morton Mandan Public Library. So again, trying to add things every year and do some things different, so it's not, it's the same thing year on year. There's some comfort in those things, but again, trying to add some new things every year. And kudos to the folks that are sponsoring the new displays in the park, and kudos to the Morton Mandan Public Library for the Mingle with the Kringles.
Bring your Christmas list. I
Yes.
think that was said last night. Mingle with the Kringles and give it right to Santa. See what you get under the tree this year.
That's the way.
And finally, I think you mentioned this already, but just to reiterate, on Small Business Saturday,
Right.
the 29th.
Shop Small Business Saturday is always you have Black Friday, or you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Black Friday, and you've got Shop Small Saturday. And so we encourage folks to partake and patronize those local businesses. They're not the big box stores, which we like you to go to those too. But a day set aside for, go to your local shops, your downtown. We've got several out on Memorial Highway, several up in the northwest part of Mandan.
Right.
So patronize your local businesses. Those sales tax dollars that are spent at those establishments stay within your community that you spend them. So we always encourage that. That helps our economic development. It helps our property taxes. It helps all those things be lower by, again, shopping local.
semi-light agenda last night, but wanted to talk about considering a resolution for street improvements, District 241, Red Trail Elementary. Maybe not that in specific, but I guess the project management, and there's a new flow chart, so to speak, that you guys came up
Yeah.
with. We'll kind of walk everybody through where things are at in a given project.
I think it's, and again, thank you for bringing that up. We've asked our engineering department to put together a flow chart so, commissioners know and we all know, okay, where are we in the status of a project? Because projects take from the time they're thought of till the time they're completed. Oftentimes, many years are involved in that. And then, so Jarek and Riley in our engineering department put together a flow chart, and we have circled on that flow chart, we are here, or you are here, so we know there's 15 steps in the project, we're in step 3, and here's what's coming afterwards. So we think that's very beneficial for our elected officials, for our community members, and especially for those that are within that project area. So kind of a nice, different thing that we did with this project is we sat down with and had a public input meeting with the residents in that area and said, what kind of things would you like to see happen? You know your neighborhoods better than we do. And tell us, where do we have a pothole? Where do we have some stormwater issues? Where do we have some other payment issues? And so we had one of those meetings a few weeks ago, was very well received, very well attended. And so we're trying to get more public input before we go to kind of 30% design on a project. So we've done that, well received, and now last night was the creation of the resolutions to create that assessment district. And again, engineers we'll get to 30% design, so we get a good cost estimate and things like that. But again, the points that we want to make in this project, we did public engagement early and asked folks, what would you like to see? And I think that when those tables got turned a bit, it's public is not, they're what we're welcoming them. We are welcoming them into the project and saying, how can we do this better? And we got great feedback. And so again, this flow chart as part of the agenda packet, if you haven't seen it, we encourage you to look at it. And he's got some high level steps in there, and I think there's 10 or 15 steps from the creation or the public input meeting like we did the other night to when we would expect the project to be complete, and those special assessments may hit then your property tax statement. So it's kind of from beginning to end, and here's the high points in between. There's probably 1,000 steps in between there, but for a big picture look, again, this chart really maps that out quite well.
And I thought, just from my perspective, it also, with multiple things happening and,
Right.
2 meetings a month, year-round, you can lose track of where a particular project, or maybe not remember quite right where something's at. So for me, it was helpful to know that, you could apply this to multiple projects.
Right, and I think this is, we set the standard here now so that all projects will have this accompanying them, so that, again, it's a big picture look, and to know where we are in the midst of that project is very beneficial for myself, and I think for everybody that looks at it says, what else do we have to do? When we even talk about a water reservoir project, we're going, okay, it's built, now what? Well, okay, in the wintertime, you'll see demolition of the old one, because we've tested and made sure that new one is up and ready to go. You'll see outside coatings, and we've talked about that on what do we want to put on the outside of this water reservoir. Maybe there's some mural things that we can do with that.
Finally, some perhaps unintended levity in the resolutions and ordinances where they talked about establishing the rates and changes for cemetery services. That went off without any debate, but
there was a question.
There was a question.
Yes. And I think Commissioner Rohr asked, and with the number of cremations always increasing, and which is on one hand, it's a different way of doing things. Not that it's a new way, it's just different, and we're seeing more and more of those. We do have, half grave sites and full grave sites. Obviously, Commissioner Rohr asked the difference. and our Public Works Director, Shane O'Keefe, was on his game last night and explained clearly that, the half grave site is about half of a full grave site, and that's why they're that way. But really, the good levity, but it really accounts for cremations and things like that. And cremations extend the life of the land that you have on your cemetery. We have a columbarium out there that is starting to pick up in use, and therefore, even when we do in the wintertime and the ground is frozen, we will do burials, but it's much easier to buy a columbarium space where we don't have to, go through thawed ground or go through frozen ground.
Yeah.
And things like that. So again, those rates are increasing, and part of that is, I think the public sometimes thinks that, well, we're paying for the opening and closing of a grave and then we're done forever. Well, there's the maintenance. And that cemetery, over the past several years, we've gotten many compliments on the care that we take out there. We do take great pride, and I know our employees that work at the cemetery are very prideful of their work and want it to look nice, because we want to be respectful, and this is a place where people come to remember their loved ones, and we want to make sure that we are top-notch in that, and that doesn't come without cost, and so that's why we need to adjust the rates.
Well, with that, the meeting adjourned, and next City Commission meeting in Mandan, December 2nd.
Yeah, it's December 2nd and then December 16th, and then we are done until the first Tuesday in January. So there'll be a little bit of a break, and we'll move into 2026, which is, like we talked earlier, time is really flying when you go from 4th of July to, I think we had Labor Day in there somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah,
and
it happened.
You're hitting Thanksgiving and the holiday season, and I know that Commissioner Mayor Freilich and also Police Chief Ziegler were on a radio show this morning talking about the holiday season is a time when you need to be safe with yourselves and shopping and things like that, and make sure that we're not putting a big warning out there that it's not safe to shop. But be mindful of your surroundings, and we encourage everyone to shop local.
If you happen to miss the meeting last night,
Yes.
you can go to dakotamediaaccess.org and watch it on demand. You can also check out our DMA app and watch it wherever you are. And if you need some entertainment, please check out our Radio Access 102.5 app. If you're not listening to us on your FM dial, you can check out all of our great radio producers and podcast hosts that we have there. Jim, thanks for joining us. Until next time, thanks for watching City Current.
For more information on what was discussed in this episode of City Current, visit cityofmandan.com or call 701-667-3215. If you have any suggestions, comments, or issues you would like addressed in future City Current episodes, contact us at info@freetv.org. This program airs on Government Access Channel 2 and 602 in HD, or on Radio Access 102.5 FM. It's also available as a podcast on radioaccess.org and as a video viewing link at freetv.org. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of City Current.